First off, I would like to say thank you to all of the Patron family from the Discord for being supportive and cool during a rather hard time for me and Zeus. Anyway, let me get to the meat and potatoes of why you guys are even listening. This is a story from a law enforcement officer that is just to get it out there and show you guys the worst case scenario of what can go wrong for us. The date is February 6th, 2019. I had been moved over to nights again, and me and my partner Zeus were happy to be back in our old stomping grounds per se. We had been on shift for 3 hours and 24 minutes. I was sitting in the parking lot of a local abandoned restaurant running radar. Zeus, my 4-year-old Belgian Malinois, had his head right next to mine. It was cold outside, 24 degrees Fahrenheit to be exact. He was panting, his tongue hanging from his jaw. I laugh to myself and reach up, scratching behind his ear. He responds by licking me on the side of my face. "That's a good boy," I say as I pat him on his head. Just then, my radar beeps to life. The speed limit on the road I'm watching is 40. The radar just clocked the silver Chevy Malibu going well over 60. "We got one, boy," I say to my partner as I hit my lights and sirens. Zeus is now dancing excitedly, yipping and going back and forth in his back seat. I key up on the microphone and tell dispatch where I am and all the pertinent information to the traffic stop. The silver Malibu that I'm behind pulled over to the shoulder of the road, and I radioed dispatch again and let them know the exact location. I pat my dog and zip up my jacket. I open the door and point my spotlight at the car and watch the car for a moment. Just one person in the car. I make the mistake of thinking to myself, just a routine traffic stop. I shiver and take a few steps to the car. A knot is forming in my gut. Something is wrong, but I ignore it. I step up to the driver's side of the car, hanging just away from the door and leaning into view. "Hello, my name is Officer Ellis. Do you know the reason you're being stopped today?" I asked as I smiled. The man driving looks up at me. A Hispanic male approximately 40 years of age spoke with a thick accent. "No." He was short and curt. "Well, sir, I have you going 62 and a 40 back there. Do you have a license and proof of financial responsibility?" The gentleman hands me his driver's license and his insurance card. I take the documents and tell him, "If you'll just sit tight and stay in your car, I'll be right back," and turn to go back to my car. I get back into my car and am greeted by my partner and his massive tongue. I laugh and push his head away. I key dispatch and ask for warrants and everything I need on the driver. I look up and see the door to the car open. I grab my bullhorn mic and say, "Sir, stay in the car." The man is now standing outside. I open my door and climb out of the car. "Sir," I say as I stepped around my door and walked towards him. Time froze. In the lights of my expedition, I see the reflection of something metal. "Sir, stop!" I yell as the man rushes me. He closed the distance before I could react at all. Then I was on the ground, sharp burning pain in my right side underneath my armpit. I let out a yell. It felt like someone had just jabbed a hot fire poker into my side. Then again as my other hand fumbles on my belt. "There!" I yelled self-internally as I mashed a button on my belt. A third burning pain as I hear my back door fly open. The barking of my dog ceases and I feel the man who was on top of me knocked off. I hear Zeus growling and the man yelling. Then I hear my dog yelp, and it was a yelp of pain. I find myself scrambling backward and drawing my sidearm. "Drop it!" I yell at the man. He is now advancing towards me, knife in hand. "I will shoot you! Drop it!" I yell again. The man begins to run and I squeeze the trigger. The slide on my Glock halts at the back position. I'm noticing it's getting hard to breathe. I key up. Shots fired! I'm injured, suspect is down, send EMS. I reload my weapon and try to stand. I can't get up. For the 24-degree weather, my right side is warm. Zeus has not moved. I managed to get up using my car, and I kicked the blade away from this guy using my weak hand to keep my weapon trained on the crumpled body of the man. He is not breathing and I can hear sirens approaching. I get over to my dog who is still laying still. I fall next to my dog. Well, we've done it now, boy, I say as I put his head in my lap. He is bleeding from the side. I'm petting him and now I'm getting tunnel vision. I see the lights now. I look at my boy who is looking up at me. I'm gonna close my eyes for a second, I say. My voice is now in a whisper and it's almost impossible to breathe now. I close my eyes. I come to in the ER. I got over 20 stitches, a chest tube, a week in the hospital, and time off work for being stabbed 3 times. My partner Zeus got over 10 stitches and was stabbed twice. I'm now waiting to hear if I will have charges pressed against me for killing the man who tried to kill me. I never know how to end these, but I just feel better getting this off my chest. Thank you for y'all's time and patience. On October 15th, 2018, I was on patrol. The normal thing that I do on a nightly basis. I drove through the streets of my town, the name of which I will keep to myself for privacy reasons. My beat, as it is called, is what we call the East Side. This is the poor side of town, where one would assume the worst of the worst live. In our town, this is sadly true. I actually requested to be on this beat. I had been told ever since I was in the police academy I had a nose for narcotics, and over the years this proved to be true. Over my relatively short career, so far I've gotten quite a few narcotic busts under my belt. In particular, I have a nose for methamphetamine, and on this beat the drug of choice is meth. I digress. Back to the story. I'm on my beat and it's a normal night. Well, as normal as it can be for law enforcement. There is no such thing as normal in this field. I'm in my cruiser, a 2017 Ford Expedition. It's just shortly after dark. Maybe 5 minutes as I turn onto one of the main streets that runs through the town, the radio squawks to life, breaking the silence of my vehicle. I drive in utter silence with my windows down because I can hear quite a bit. Everything from conversations outside to music that is on the other side of the block. The radio squawks again. Dispatch is calling a unit to respond to a domestic disturbance. Not my beat. I make a mental note of the address that was given in case a shots fired call was sent out. I tap on the keyboard on my in-car computer. I'm at a stoplight. I look up to see a car bolt through the intersection. I grumble and hit my lights and pick up the microphone and key up. 143 to dispatch, I'm going to be 1033. Blue vehicle moving at a high rate of speed. The dispatcher replied, 10-4, 143. I pushed the gas pedal to the floor and jerked the wheel to the left. My car lurched forward and I hit my sirens. Dispatch, be advised I'm turning left onto MLK. Speed is now 60, blue car, Chevy Malibu. License plate is Henry Ida Charles 6987. Can you run a 27 and 29? I look at the car as it pulls over. I angle my car to the left of the back of the vehicle to provide myself some cover and hit my spotlight. I shine my light into the car and wait to get out of my vehicle. Dispatch, be advised we are on the corner of MLK and 5th Street. 3 occupants in the car. I set my microphone down and grabbed my baseball cap. I put my cap on and I opened my door. I stand by my car door for a moment, watching the people in the car fidget. Dispatch returns. 143, be advised 27 and 29 come back clean. I mutter to myself and shiver. A cold front came in last night and it's too cold to be doing this. I think these thoughts to myself as I walk around the front of the car and approach the driver's side. I walk up to the car, blading my body away from the car, not going up to the window, hanging back to the rear of the car. I lean in view of the window and speak. Evening, guys. My name is Officer Ellis. Do you know why you're being pulled over tonight? I ask. The reply I got was something to the effect of, Nah, man. All right, well, I saw you blow through a light at a pretty fast speed. I clocked you at 75 and a 30. Do you have ID for everyone in the car and valid insurance? As I take down the VIN number of the car. The 3 occupants all handed over identification and a valid insurance card. I take the papers and turn to go back to my vehicle. I key up. Dispatch, can I get a 28 on James Carter, black male, date of birth 11 April 2001? Drew Winston, black male, date of birth 12 January 1999, and Marcos Mendoza, Latino male, date of birth 2 February 2002. I made up all those names, by the way. I then run the VIN number through my in-car computer. I then begin to write in my notepad the names and dates of birth of all 3 men. I glance up through the window and see them really moving around. The alert on my computer breaks my attention. The car alerts as stolen. I grumble. Dispatch keys up. 143, be advised. Marcos Mendoza has a warrant out of Oceana County for failure to appear. All clear on the other 2. I double-check the VIN to what I have written down and key up to dispatch. Dispatch, be advised the car is coming back 1099, please confirm. I now wait, getting anxious. 10-4-143, vehicle returns as 1099. I am now giddy as a schoolgirl on prom night. Finally, some action. 10-4, dispatch. Go ahead and roll another unit to my location. I then step out of my patrol car. I begin to walk up to the vehicle with my hand on my weapon. Just then I see the driver's side door of the car open and I shout, "Stay in the car!" I begin to draw my weapon and time slows to a crawl. My brain registers the gun in the driver's hand. I can't get mine up fast enough. I hear the pop. Then it feels like the air is knocked out of me, knocking me on my back. 3 more pops and I can feel them punching into me. I get my gun out with my right hand and key up on my shoulder mic. Shots fired, I'm hit. My voice is strangely calm as I raise my Glock 19 and squeeze. The rounds I fire hit the back of the car, now speeding away. Dispatch, be advised, shots fired, suspect is fleeing. Roll EMS and more units to my location, I'm hit. I say again, I'm hit. Just then another cruiser goes flying by, sirens and lights blaring. I manage to get myself up to sitting on the side of my car by the tire. I can't breathe and I'm pulling at my shirt. It's wet and I'm thinking that I just took rounds to the chest. Another car screeches to a stop and the officer jumps out and runs up to me. "Where are you hit?" he says as he sets his first aid kit down and radios to dispatch asking where EMS is. "The chest, I think," I manage to croak. Now the pain is coming. It's beginning to hurt and I can feel a warm wetness on my chest. "I think it hit your vest," I hear as I can feel my shirt being torn open. Breathing is rather difficult. "EMS," I managed to get out and cough a bit. That hurt, and it was not a thing I wanted to do. The sound of the sirens gets closer. I know it's EMS. The other officer is saying something to me, but I can't keep focused. He now has my vest off and he is pressing on my chest. That hurt. Ow, that fucking hurts. I nearly yell at him. "Look, man, I think you got them all in your vest, but you're bleeding. I'm stopping it." He barks at me as EMS rolls up. That night I took 3 9mm rounds to the chest, resulting in a total of 4 fractured ribs, severe bruising, and a few scrapes and bumps. Please, if you are in a stolen car, do not shoot at the cops. The 3 individuals who were all in the vehicle were apprehended and are currently awaiting trials on multiple felony charges and are looking at a long time behind bars. All because the driver shot at me. The driver is the one who would have been charged with the stolen car. The other 2 would have left with nothing. There were drugs in the vehicle as well. Methamphetamine. I can only think that they shot at me because they were scared I was going to find the meth. Which I would have. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, share it with your friends, all that stuff. And if you would like to help support the channel and get access to the exclusive Discord that Officer Ellis was referencing, make sure you check out the link in the description. I want to give a special shout out to Teddie, aka Officer Ellis, for submitting both of your stories. I really appreciate it, dude, and I'm glad it's kind of a way to help vent, I guess. Stay safe out there, dude. You just gave me the story a little while ago about you getting shot and now you're out there getting stabbed and shit. Which is the exact reason I added you on my private Facebook, so that way if some shit did go down, at least I'd know. But for real, I'm glad you and Zeus are alright. And by the way, the picture you're seeing right now is Zeus after he got his stitches. Hence why he's shaved. Look at that boy. Yeah, boy. I hope you both heal up well and quickly, and I also hope that the investigation goes quickly. I also want to give a big shout out to you for listening to this video. It really does mean a lot to me, and I've noticed for some weird ass reason my subscribers really aren't getting notified of my videos. In fact, almost 70% of my views come from outside of my subscribers now, which is exactly the opposite of how it was last month. So I think something's a little buggy with YouTube. Regardless, I appreciate you checking out this video, and I will catch you in the next one. And just remember, it's always scarier if it's true. Bad bye. I'm going to make a little disclaimer here since I normally am not this obvious, but the next story you're about to hear is completely made up off the top of my head. I like to do that occasionally after my credits for those of you that stick around. They usually come out pretty damn stupid, so just be prepared to waste your time. So leave now if you don't want to waste your time, because time is very valuable and you will never get it back. But if you're badass and you know you got a little bit of time to spare, I hope you enjoy. I'm a 12-year-old guy and this happened to me about 2 weeks ago. I live about 14 feet from my school. Pretty damn close. So I usually walk to school. Sometimes I'll get my parents to give me a ride, but sometimes they just tell me to stop being lazy. This story takes place on one of my walks to school. I guess I should explain the reason I live 14 feet from my school is because we live in a motorhome parked in the parking lot. So we're about 14 feet from what I consider to be the school grounds and about 100 feet to my classroom door. Which can get pretty damn exhausting if you're trying to conserve energy to learn in school. Walking across the parking lot to my school, I noticed a penny on the ground, so I bent over to pick it up. By the time I got back up, a man was standing in front of me. He asked me if I wanted a ride to school. Which, even though I was told at a very young age, stranger danger, I was 12 years old now, I could kind of defend myself a little bit better. Plus this guy was only like 7'2", maybe 300 pounds. I could rip him limb from limb with my eyes closed if he tried to go anywhere else but the school. So I took him up on his offer. He brought me over to his vehicle, which ended up being a golf cart. And this is where the scary shit happens. Rather than heading through the rest of the parking lot to the school, the guy turns onto the road. Immediately, I start asking what he's doing, and he replies that he knows a shortcut. I sat back for a moment, trying to think if there was a shortcut around here that I might not know about. Hell, it might be able to cut my walk time down on a regular basis. So I sit there silently for about a minute. That's when I notice he wasn't going to my school. I figured at about that time we should have been hitting the school if it was a shortcut, but the school was nowhere to be seen. I ask him once again where we're going, and he replies that we are going to school. And then he pulls out a knife. And then he reaches in his other pocket and pulls out some peanut butter. Then he starts using his knee to steer the vehicle and starts putting the peanut butter onto the knife and eating it off of the knife. This is where I got really bad vibes. Who eats peanut butter off of a knife? You at least need to have it on some bread or something, and with honey. Or apple butter or jelly. Strawberry jelly's good as long as you get the one with seeds. It kinda makes you feel like you liquefied a strawberry and put it in your mouth. That sounds disgusting. Unless it's a smoothie. Ooh, I want a smoothie when I'm done in here. So as he's eating the peanut butter, I decide now's my time to get out of the vehicle, since there were no doors and our top speed was maybe 20 miles per hour. As soon as I go to jump out, his arm shoots over and he tries to grab me, but fortunately I get off the vehicle. He immediately starts screaming that I need to get back on his motorized personnel transportation unit. I tell him I gotta get to school or I'm going to be late. He drives off and I'm walking back to school. Fortunately, someone else saw me walking and offered me a ride, which I eagerly accepted because holy crap, I'd done enough walking. Plus, do you know how hard it is to catch yourself when you're going like 15 or 25 miles per hour from a stop? I know 15 to 25 is a pretty big difference, that 10 mile per hour difference, but I don't get out a lot, so judging speed is a little bit hard for me. Regardless, I had to catch myself, and that was exhausting. In fact, it was so exhausting I decided not to go to school that day. My mom and dad tried to lay into me when I walked back into the motorhome.
Why ain't you at school, baby?
My mom asked. Yes, she has a speech impediment, but she's made a remarkable recovery from the time she fell out of the motorhome and smacked her voice box.
Oh, hell no, boy. You going to school today. I'll tell you what, you better get your book bag and get back up in there, boy.
My dad tried to order. I let them know what had happened, and immediately both of their tunes changed.
Oh my god, I'm so happy you're okay, baby.
My mom said lovingly. That was the last day they let me walk to school. And my throat hurts after doing that stupid ass voice. I hope everyone enjoyed this waste of time, and if you didn't, well, I kinda warned you beforehand, so if you want to complain about it, you're kinda the dummy. But thanks for sticking around. I'll catch y'all later. I'm tired as fuck, man. It was a long day at work. It was slow, so the day went by very slow. Plus, I kinda want to play some video games, because I don't have time for that anymore. I'm gonna go play Apex, boy. I'm gonna go get me some of those good kills. Why am I still in here?